let's go on to Google Docs. All right, to create a Google Doc, you're going to go to the New button, and you're going to go to Google, and you're going to click. Now, as I said, do as I say and don't do as I do, and I'm pretty good at naming my documents. So I usually come up here and click on the Untitled document, and I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to call it Oh My. I'm going to put a 2 after it for the second week, and I'm going to click out of that. Now notice it's saving, and when it's done it says all changes are saved in Drive. This is true for Drive, Slides, Docs, Sheets, everything. It saves it automatically so you don't have to remember to save. All right, next to here I've got my star. Notice if I click on here and I go back to Google Drive and go to Starred, I am going to have my Oh My 2 document, okay? This was my practice document. So yes, I do practice for these things. Going back to my document, I also have a little folder. This is the thing that I forget to use. So if I click here, it lets me file this as I create it. And so if I want to put it in with my class stuff, it is in the Kate Drive. And then I'm looking for Educate Academy and Google Level 1. And we'll just put it right there. Okay, it did say that people might lose access to it, but I did just create it. So I don't think I didn't share it with anybody, so nobody else is going to lose access, but people may gain access because that whole folder is shared. All right, notice that that little message went away. If I wanted to, if I put it in the wrong place accidentally, I could undo it before that message goes away. All right, in Google Drive, it's going to look a lot like Word. I'm going to copy and paste some text into here. So I've got Wikipedia open. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back in here and paste it, just so we have some text to work with. Under the File menu, I have New and Open and Rename, but I don't have Save. And the reason you don't have Save is because all of your changes are saved automatically. You do have Make a Copy, which is pretty much the same as Save As. If I click on here, then it will call it Copy Of. I can change the name of it. I can get rid of Oh My. Maybe I want to call it, Revised. And I could take it to a different folder by clicking here, and it's going to let me move it back out of Google One. I could change it and put it even back further and choose where I want it to go. Once I'm there, I can select it. If I don't see the folder that I want, I can actually create a folder by clicking here and naming it, and then it will put it in that folder. So that's really cool. If I want to share it with the same people that it was shared with before, then I can click that as well. So we're going to cancel that because I really don't want to move it. All right, under File, we also have the version history. This used to be called revision history, and just in the last week or so, they've changed this. One of the additions to this means that you can, as you're working on versions, you can name those versions, and you could put a date on them. You could put, draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, and so that you could go back and look at, the different versions and the progression of your document. The thing that it was there before was see revision history, and now you see version history. So since I haven't really done much with this, it's going to show me that this is all the text that I added into it. And yeah, it was me. And I know it was me because when I hover over it, it puts my name there. But if I look over here, that color is next to my name. Now, to show you a little bit more about how this works, I have a document open, and we can go to File, Version History, see Version History. Yeah. And you'll see that there are different versions here. If I come down to this one at September 13th at this time, you will see that the orange changes were made by Ginny, and down here some of the purple changes were made by Missy. So that's how you can actually keep track of the things that students do when they're working in group projects. And so if you have 2 or more students working together, it's a great way to see who actually wrote your paper or who actually did the work in the assignment. And you can see revision history in Slides, you can see it in Docs, and I believe you can see it in Sheets as well. So it's kind of like having spyware for teachers built right into your document. It's a great way to also to keep, the typical group dynamics where you have one kid that doesn't want to do, his or her share of the project. You have kids complaining about it. You can open up the document and show them the revision history or the version history. Gotta get used to saying that. It is the version history, and show them that, hey, I can see who did the work, and there's only like 2 sentences here that you did. You've got proof right in front of your eyes. So also under, I'm going to get out of version history, under file, you can download as, and you can save your document as a Word file, as an open document format, rich text format, PDF, plain text, a web page, or an EPUB. So you've got all kinds of options, and it really doesn't take that long for it to do it in any format. The email part in Kentucky, I don't think it's going to work since you don't use Gmail. When you actually do start using Gmail, which I hope is soon, you should be able to email your collaborators in your group, or you can send this as an attachment, maybe to somebody else. Maybe for whatever reason you need to email it, but you can do that. You can change the language in the document. If you're in a Spanish class and you're taking Spanish and you have to do something in Spanish, you can change your language to Spanish and write your document in that. Okay, page setup is where you're going to change your portrait and landscape, your page size, you can change your page color, and your margins. And any of these, when you make the changes, you can always set them as the default. That's pretty easy. All right, under edit, most of the things you see there are going to be similar to what you're going to see in Word. You've got your find and replace, select all, select none. I've never seen that before, but because I just never noticed. All right, under view, I've got, right now I'm looking at the print layout. I can see my ruler. If I want to turn that off, I can click on this and the check mark will go away. I can show an equation toolbar for those of you that are doing math problems. I can turn on or off the spelling suggestions. And then can look at it in full screen without all this stuff up above it. Under insert, I can insert images and links and equations. Most of those things are going to be along here. So there's your link and some of your other things. Not all of them are there, so you can come here and insert things from there as well. You can insert a drawing, which is going to take you to Google Drawings and let you create the drawing. And then when you save and close it, it will insert that into your Google document. Comments, I'll show you how to insert those in a different way. You can also put footnotes in, special characters. You might want a horizontal line somewhere within your document. Your page numbers, it's pretty cool. It's very easy. I either want my page numbers in the top right-hand corner or the bottom right-hand corner. Or I can skip the first page and start on the second. So you can have your title page for your report and then start your page numbering past that. Page count, putting in page breaks. You can do a column break if you have columns, headers, footers, and table of contents. Now, table of contents uses the text style, and so depending on what you use here is going to depend on how you break up your text. That's how it's going to find and do your table of contents. Format, pretty much what's on your toolbar. You can change capitalization from lowercase to uppercase to title case. You can make numbered lists. That's also an option in your toolbar. You can add columns. When I started with Google Docs, you couldn't do columns, so that's something fairly new. Capitalization is as well. You can change your line spacing. This is also up here. You can do your alignment, which is also up here. Yeah, it's here somewhere, right here. So most of this is all in there. Tools, you've got your spelling tool, you've got your suggested edits that you can review, and I'll show you how to put those in there. The Explore tool is pretty awesome. Explore used to be called the Research tool. You'll notice that it's here, but it's also down here in the bottom right as well. And so if I want to use it, I can click here, and it allows you basically to do research from right within Google Docs. So basically you've got a little bit of the Google search engine right here. So because I've got giraffe in my document, it's automatically pulling up giraffes and giving me some ideas. When I click on the word giraffe, it's going to give me a little overview of what a giraffe is. And you're going to see that that is from Wikipedia. And when I come down here, I'm going to see websites that it's suggesting on giraffes. Notice when I'm hovering over a website, I get quotation marks here. So if I wanted to put a footnote here telling where I got this information, and let's say I got it from this website, I can just hit the quotation marks and notice it puts a 1 there. At the very bottom of the page, I've got my 1 and it tells me what website it came from. Now, what format is it in? Well, if I come back up here next to web results, I've got a citation menu, and so I can change it from MLA to APA to Chicago, but it defaults to MLA, so that should be what this is. I can also click and open the website and then read it and come back here after I get my information and put it into my document, and then I can add the quotation, which makes it really easy. If I need images for my document, I can come to images, and when I find one that I like, I can either click the plus and it will insert it, or I could have just dragged it in. Okay, so if I look at this, it's a little big, so I can click from my corner and it will size it proportionally. If I drag it from one end, it's going to make it stretched, and it probably went to the next one. So with a giraffe, you might not notice, but there is an undo here, which is also Command or Control Z, and so it puts it back in where it was. A neat thing in Google is that they've now come out with where you can double click on an image and you can crop it. See those black lines? If I select those, I can bring this in and bring this in. Now I don't have a lot of wasted space. If I click on it again, it's obviously been cropped. And you'll notice I have a link to where it is or where it came from. And I can also wrap the text, so it's around it. I can break the text. It might be easier to see that if I move it up here. So it stops it and it goes underneath it as well. And when I do inline, it puts it right in the middle of a sentence. So that's nice if you're doing some kind of activity where you want to put in little pictures for words, but otherwise I don't think it's the best option. Notice when I do wrap text, I do have a margin selection, and so I can put a 1/2 inch margin if I want to, or I can go down to an 1/8 inch, which is what it defaults to. Maybe a 1/4 would be better. It's a little cleaner. But anyway, you've got those options. I know sometimes in word processors, I've just struggled trying to find that text wrap. And so it's right there. The other thing you have here is Drive, and this pulls up documents and pictures and things that have to do with your topic. You can't just add them in. For example, if I wanted to pull this elephant in, I would actually have to click on it, it would open it, and then I could copy it and then paste it in. And I've got all these other things here that I could do, but I've noticed that if I right click and copy the image and then go, close it, go back to my document, let's say I want it right here, I can right click and I can paste and it will come in that way. And then I can select it and make it a little smaller and then wrap the text. All right, now notice on this, it does not put the citation for where I got that from. And so that's the bad thing about copying and pasting it. You'd have to find out where that is and give credit to that image. And it's in your drive. You still, unless it's your picture, you need to give credit to where it came from. And that happens to be my picture, so I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to close Explore, and I'm going to go down below my document and make a new paragraph. One of the neatest tools, I think, under Tools is voice typing. When you activate voice typing, it is going to type what you say. So for those of you in middle school and high school, most of your kids can type fairly well, but let's say a kid breaks or sprains his arm and can't write, or maybe you have a kid with a disability, they can talk, but they really can't hold a pencil very well. You can let them use voice typing in order to do their work. The way it works is you just put your cursor where you want it and you click to speak. As I'm talking, it is going to write what I'm saying, period. To start a new sentence, I just said the word period, and it put a period in the sentence. Let's continue with my sentence. new paragraph, and it creates a new paragraph. So I can talk and tell my story and get it on paper. This is awesome for little kids too. Kids that have lots going on in their brains but can't get it out by writing. Great way to write stories and reports, period. Voice typing, great tool. Also under tools is you do word count. Google Keep is now attached to Google Drive or Google Docs. And so I can go to my Google Keep and say I want to bring in a list of things. I can move to where I want the list. And I can actually say drag it in. Yes, I'm doing some painting, looking at paint colors. I could pull this list in. And this is a great way to do, let's say, some research and put some different things into Google Keep as a note, and then you can pull it into Google Docs as well. Okay, we'll close that. Also under tools is translate document. So let's say I have a parent who needs to have this in another language so that they can read it. It will make a copy of this. So it says translated copy of and the name of my document, and it's going to go ahead and let me choose whatever language I want. And so let's say I want it in Malay, and I can translate it. And so it opened a new document, and it is now in Malay. There's your translated copy. We'll go back over here. That's pretty much it in tools. You can insert tables and do all those things that we would want to do in a table. And then you have add-ons. This is something that is in Google Docs. It's also in Sheets, and it is in Forms. And so I have one that's added. This is a Bibliography Creator. It will create a page that will be added in at the end, and you can search for books, journal articles, or websites. You can put a title in, the ISBN number, keywords, and let's say we're looking for the book thief, and then I click search. It's going to come down here and give me this information. Well, let's say this is the one we want, and so I can select that, and it looks like it is a print. That's not the one I wanted, and so I can go back and search again. This is a great way to add and create your bibliography, and I sure wish I had it when I went to school. Under help, there's a great docs help in here, and their help documents are really very good. The neat thing is under report a problem in any Google product, you can not only report an issue, but you can share your ideas. So if you want to see something, let's say in Google Classroom, you can go to the help, and I think in Google Classroom it's a question mark, and you can say, I'd really like to see this in Google Classroom, and tell them why. That's how a lot of things I think have been added, because Google programmers are not teachers, and so they don't really know what teachers want, and they do say that they listen to us when we give them suggestions. Comments, let's say you're doing editing this as the students are working on it, and you can add a comment. I can do it this way. Go to comments and choose comment. Once I've written my comment, I can click comment. It's going to keep it highlighted, and it is going to, the student will see it the next time they go in, and they will be able to make changes and then click resolve. The nice thing is if you do this as the students are working, you will, when you go to grade, you can go to comments, see every comment that was made, and then you can go in and make sure they made the change, and that will help you with your grading. So you can do it as they're working. For example, if I was to highlight this, notice I get the little comment. So that should be showing. Just click here and then I can add my comment, just like I did before, instead of going to comments and choosing comment. That's pretty much it with Google Docs. And so if you have any questions on that, please make sure you ask questions. That's what we're all about here, is getting, learning all about this. One other thing that I didn't mention is when you're doing a comment, if it's a group document, when you do the comment, you can actually put a plus and then put it in as, I want this to go to Ginny. I can even assign it to her. And then after that, I can put something I want her to do. Would you look at this, blah, 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 blah. And then I can assign. And so this will then be given to her to actually go through and edit. So you can use that little plus and their email address to assign tasks or assign parts to different people.